Welcome to another tutorial on Do-It-Yourself Easy. In today's video, we'll explore 5 different ways to make the sum and average functions dynamic. If you work with data that constantly updates, you know how important it is to update the ranges in your formulas. Let's dive in and see what I mean. We have the following information, and we need to calculate the total salary the company pays, as well as the average salary. First, let's calculate the total salary. In F2, type equals sum open parentheses, select the range, and press Enter. Now for the average salary, go to G2, type equal average open parentheses, select the range, and press Enter. Now let's see what happens if we add an extra row with new data. As you can see, the information doesn't automatically update. The first and simplest way to fix this is by converting the data into a table. Let me show you. First, I'll remove the newly added row and place it somewhere else to use later. Now click any cell in the data range, go to the Insert tab, and select Table. If your table has headers, make sure the box is checked, then click OK. Now let's add Javier's data to the list. And as you can see, both the sum and average formulas have automatically updated. This is one way to make the sum and average dynamic. Let's move to the next method. This time, we won't insert a table, but instead, we'll use 2 functions, offset and count. The offset function gives us a starting point, and count function will help us specify the range for the rows. Before we start, keep in mind that count doesn't count text, which works perfectly for our example. Let's get started. In F2, type equals sum open parentheses, then type offset open parentheses. The first parameter of offset is the starting point, which will be D2. Press comma, and the next 2 parameters will be 0 since we don't want to shift the rows or columns. Now for the height, type count, open parentheses, and select the entire column. Close the parentheses for count, then close the parentheses for offset, and press Enter. Next, copy and paste this formula into G2 and change sum to average. Finally, let's add Javier's data, and as you can see, the information updates automatically based on the parameters we set. That's one more method for making your formulas dynamic. Let's move on to the next technique. In the next method, we'll use a combination of index and count A to create a dynamic sum and average. Let's get started. Go to cell F2, type equals sum, and open the parentheses. We'll start our sum from D2, then type the colon symbol to specify the range. Now let's use index and count A to dynamically retrieve the last non-empty row. Type index open parentheses, then specify the reference, which will be the entire column, in this case column D. Next, type a comma, and for the rows parameter, use count A. Type count A, open parentheses, select the entire column again, then close the parentheses for count A. Now close the parentheses for index and press Enter. Let's test it out. Copy and paste the data for Javier into the list, and as you can see, the sum updates automatically. For the average, you can simply copy the formula, paste it into G2, and change sum to average. That's it. You now have a dynamic sum and average that adjusts automatically as new data is added. Now let's move on to our next method. This time, we'll use a combination of the sum and filter functions to make things a bit easier than before. With this approach, the filter function will extract data based on a condition, while the sum function will calculate the total of the numerical data. To start, click on cell F2 and type equals sum and open parentheses. Next, type filter open parentheses and let's define our array. In this case, the array we want to filter is column D, so select the entire column. After that, press a comma and set the condition for filtering. We want to include all values that are not equal to blank, so type column D is not equal to blank. Close the parentheses for the filter function and press Enter. That's all. The result will sum up only the non-blank numerical values in column D. Now, if you want to calculate the average instead, it's just as simple. Copy the formula, paste it into another cell, and replace the word sum with average. And there you go. Both the sum and average are now dynamic and ready to use. For our final method, let's explore Power Query, a powerful tool that allows you to create calculations that update whenever you refresh the table. Start by right-clicking anywhere on your dataset and selecting Get Data from Table or Range. When the window pops up, click OK to confirm. This will load your data into the Power Query editor. Inside the editor, go to the Transform tab and select the column labeled Salary. From there, navigate to Statistics and choose Sum. Once you see the calculated value, go to Properties, rename the result to Sum. Now, to save this query, go to the Home tab and choose Close and Load To. When the pop-up window appears, select Existing Worksheet, choose any cell and press. Okay, now let's calculate the average using Power Query. The steps are almost the same. Right-click in the table, select Get Data from Table Range. Back in the editor, select the Salary column again, go to Transform, and this time, choose Statistics and select Average. Rename the result to Average, then go to Home tab, select again Close and Load To. Once again, select Existing Worksheet and choose any cell where you want to place it. In this case, I will select next to our sum. Here's the best part. Whenever you add new data to your table, all you need to do is right-click on the connection and choose Refresh. Your calculations will update automatically. These are just a few ways to create dynamic calculations for sum and average. While there are many other methods, this tutorial gives you exactly what you need to handle this at an intermediate level. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more tutorials like this one. See you next time.